financial world was rocked this morning as news broke of a dramatic crash in pharmaceutical stocks, sending shockwaves through Wall Street and beyond. Investors, analysts, and everyday people alike are all asking the same question. What just happened, and what does it mean for the future of COVID vaccines, especially for children? The answer, as it turns out, is complicated, and it all started with a single, highly controversial government report that's now making headlines around the globe. The heart of the controversy centers on COVID vaccines and their use in children. For months, parents have been weighing the risks and benefits, listening to experts, and trying to make the best decisions for their families. But now, with this new report, the debate has reached a fever pitch. The question on everyone's mind, are COVID vaccines truly safe for kids, or have we missed something crucial in our rush to protect them from the virus? So, what's really going on? Let's break it down. The Trump administration, in a move that has stunned both supporters and critics, has announced plans to formally claim that COVID vaccines may be linked to the deaths of approximately 25 children across the United States. This announcement came during a high-profile press conference, with officials citing newly surfaced reports and calling for immediate action and further investigation. According to the administration, these claims are based on data that suggest a possible connection between the COVID vaccines and a small number of tragic deaths among children. The government's position is that, while the vast majority of vaccinations have been safe and effective, these isolated incidents deserve a closer look. The administration is urging transparency and accountability, promising to leave no stone unturned in the search for answers. The reports in question detail the heartbreaking stories of about 25 children whose deaths have been tentatively linked to the COVID vaccine. For the families involved, the pain is unimaginable. Their stories have become a rallying point for those demanding more oversight and transparency in the vaccine approval process. But, as with any major health scare, the facts are often more complicated than the headlines suggest. The primary source for these claims is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, or VAERS, a government-run database that collects reports of possible side effects and adverse events following vaccination. VAERS is designed to be a tool for early detection of potential safety issues, allowing anyone, doctors, patients, or even concerned family members, to submit a report if they suspect a vaccine may have caused harm. But here's where things get tricky. Investors reacted instantly. Within minutes of the government's announcement, the stock prices of major pharmaceutical companies began to nosedive. Billions of dollars in market value were wiped out in a matter of hours, as uncertainty and fear gripped the financial sector. The ripple effects were felt not just in the United States, but in markets around the world, as investors scrambled to reassess the risks associated with vaccine manufacturers. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, three of the biggest names in the COVID vaccine rollout, saw their stock prices plummet. For these companies, the financial hit was immediate and severe, with billions in shareholder value evaporating almost overnight. The market's reaction was a stark reminder of just how sensitive investors are to news about vaccine safety, especially when it involves children. The story dominated headlines, with financial news outlets devoting wall-to-wall coverage to the unfolding crisis. Investors, already jittery from months of economic uncertainty, were left wondering whether this was the beginning of a larger reckoning for the pharmaceutical industry, or just another bump in the road. But here's the catch. While the headlines are alarming, the reality is far more nuanced. VAERS, the database at the center of this controversy, is an open access system. That means anyone can submit a report, regardless of whether they're a medical professional or just a concerned citizen. The system is intentionally designed to cast a wide net, capturing as much information as possible in order to spot potential safety signals early. VAERS is an open database, and that's both its greatest strength and its biggest weakness. On the one hand, it allows for rapid reporting of potential problems, giving public health officials a valuable tool for monitoring vaccine safety. On the other hand, it also means that the data can be messy, incomplete, and sometimes even misleading. Anyone can submit a report to VAERS, and there's no requirement for proof or verification before a report is added to the database. This means that while VAERS is a powerful tool for spotting trends, it's not designed to establish causation. In other words, just because a report appears in VAERS doesn't mean the vaccine actually caused the event in question. The reports in VAERS are simply signals, possible connections that need to be investigated by experts. They are not by themselves evidence of a causal link between the vaccine and any adverse event. This is a crucial distinction, and one that is often lost in the rush to break news or score political points. That's why scientists and the FDA are urging caution. They're reminding the public that while it's important to take every report seriously, it's equally important not to jump to conclusions. The process of investigating potential vaccine side effects is rigorous and methodical, involving teams of experts who review the data, look for patterns, and weigh the evidence before making any recommendations. In fact, the FDA and leading scientists have been quick to point out that so far, there is no confirmed evidence linking COVID vaccines to child deaths. The overwhelming majority of children who have received the vaccine have experienced no serious side effects, and the benefits of vaccination, protection against severe illness, hospitalization, and death, continue to far outweigh the known risks. They say there's no confirmed evidence linking the vaccines to child deaths, and they're urging the public to stay calm and wait for the results of ongoing investigations. The message from the scientific community is clear. Don't let fear and misinformation drive the conversation. Major studies, including a comprehensive review published in the prestigious medical journal The Lancet, have found no known deaths from rare side effects in children who received the COVID vaccine. These studies have been peer-reviewed and scrutinized by experts around the world, adding weight to their conclusions. The data is clear. While no medical intervention is without risk, the risk of serious harm from the COVID vaccine in children is extremely low. In fact, the risk of severe illness or death from COVID itself remains much higher for unvaccinated children, according to the latest research. For most families, the experience of getting the COVID vaccine has been uneventful, just another step in keeping their children safe and healthy. Pediatricians continue to recommend vaccination as the best way to protect kids from the dangers of COVID-19, especially as new variants continue to emerge. Still, the CDC is taking these reports seriously. Officials have announced plans to convene a special meeting to review the data, hear from experts, and determine whether any changes to vaccine recommendations are warranted. The agency is committed to transparency and has promised to keep the public informed every step of the way. The FDA, for its part, has promised a full and thorough investigation in the coming weeks. Officials say they will review every report, consult with independent experts, and make recommendations based on the best available evidence. The goal is to ensure that the vaccine program remains as safe and effective as possible for all Americans, especially children. Over the next several weeks, we can expect to see a flurry of activity as government agencies, scientists, and public health officials work to get to the bottom of these reports. The process will take time, but officials say they are committed to getting it right. Meanwhile, the debate is raging on social media. Hashtags like #VaccineSafety and #ProtectOurKids are trending, with people on all sides of the issue sharing their opinions, fears, and hopes for the future. The conversation is passionate, sometimes heated, and often fueled by misinformation and confusion.